Hello student. Nowadays we are learning the philosophical lecture from very renowned book by Dr. H.A. Robert, The Principles and Art of Cure by Homeopathy. And from this philosophy, today we are going to learn the chapter number 2, that is Introduction to the Study of Homeopathy. Yes, in this lecture he is going to make you acquainted with the various scope of homeopathy and how you gain the skill for the practice of homeopathy in order to seek the your mission of your life and build up your career. Let us start. Introduction to the study of homeopathy. If a physician would successfully practice medicine, he must know first what is curable by medicine, and second, what is curative in drugs. Yes, if a physician would successfully practice medicine, he must have a knowledge first what is curable by medicine. In a particular patient or in a particular case, what is curable by medicine? That means what is curable by medicine? That means the which totality of the symptom or which symptoms you are able to cure in that particular case. Student, you know the concept of disease in homeopathy. It is very widely what is taught in medicine, surgery, obstetric, gynec and pathology. Hahnemann says in his organon that disease to the homeopath entirely consists of the totality of symptoms. It is not merely the pathological changes in an organ or tissue or the any causative organism behind it. That is, any material cause of the cause is responsible, like bacteria, viruses or any other parasite, fungus, etc. While the totality of the symptom is whatever is the totality of the symptom manifested outwardly, it is a logical combination of all the symptoms of dynamic as well as organic pathology as manifested by subjective and objective symptoms. You know this. What do you mean by subjective symptoms? The subjective symptoms are those which are which are felt by the patient himself and narrated by the patient himself, while the objective symptoms are those which are observed by the people surrounding him as well as observed by the physician. Therefore, the totality of the symptom is nothing but the sum total of the subjective and objective symptom. These objective symptoms include the various pathological investigation and whatever the investigation, laboratory investigation like X-ray, ECG, EEG, etc. While the subjective symptoms are those which felt by the patient himself, which include the beginning of the disease and expressed by uneasiness, malaise, lassitude, then the various altered desire, aversion, etc. Therefore, after case taking, you must have a knowledge then all these symptoms at the functional level, and where the more pathological changes are not much important while selection of the medicine, because after prescription of homeopathic medicine, this medicine gives enough energy to restore sick to health, and therefore this removal of the totality of the symptom is cure. and this only expression of the disease is symptomatology, and nothing more and nothing less than this totality of the symptom. Naturally, if the symptoms totality is removed in its entirety, the disease can no longer remain inside, and therefore what is curable by medicine means which symptom you can remove by the medicine. That means the reversible changes, you are not much expected from the reversible pathological changes, while the restoration, you only have a restoration from the sick to health. That means you can establish the total health by the application of medicine. Then how you know this curability or the curative aspect of the drug? The second, what is curative in drug? What is curative in drug means what is the pathogenetic power of the drug? Because the pathogenetic power nothing but the curative power of drug, and you have a knowledge already that this curative power of drug, this pathogenetic power of drug, this knowledge you obtain from the drug proving. Let us take the next paragraph. The physician must know something of the history of the development of the drug action, of the gradual experiments with the remedial substance upon healthy human being, and the data gathered therefrom over a long period of careful observation, which have been checked and verified again and again, both in experimental proving and in clinical case. Yes, this drug proving is very laborious work in homeopathy, while it is a very scientific, on which foundation the homeopathy is based on, and therefore the physician must know something of the history of the development of the drug action. You know the history of the this golden experiment of cinchona bark, how first time Hahnemann acquainted with the action of the cinchona bark only by the proving of the cinchona bark on himself as a healthy human being, and then from this experiment the chain of the experimentation is going on. He proved various other medicine on himself, on his family member, as well as on his friend and his disciples, and construct the provers association. And this method is very scientific method applied in homeopathy, that is the prove the drug on healthy human being, and the data gathered therefrom over a long period of careful observation. Yes, by maintaining the day book and verify these all symptom time to time, the master prover collect all information from the experiment of drug proving, and then which have been checked and verified again and again. Yes, there is not only the single proving, but this same experiment with the same drug, with the same prover repeated on various time, and then it both in experimental proving and in clinical use. And this verification of the drug is not only from the proving, while the clinical, these are also proved on the clinical or clinically aspect, and then the symptom get confirmed. Therefore this materia medica is called pura. It is a pure experiment conducted on human being. The basis upon which this knowledge of drug action is built is a profound and basic element of homeopathic procedure. Yes, it is a very important knowledge of the pathogenetic power of the drug, and it is a basic element for the homeopathic prescription, because until and until we have don't know which medicine or which drug has a capacity to produce a certain group of medicine, you can't select this medicine, and therefore you must have a knowledge of the pathogenetic power of the medicine beforehand. Let us take the next paragraph. By the time the physician has become somewhat acquainted with these guides, he is in a position to go forward and erect the structure of his future medical career upon a basis that is immovable, that does not change with every new theory that arises upon the medical literature. Over a period of years, we find it one kaleidoscopic panorama of ever-changing theory and practice. Yes, H. Robert advised us that by the time, that means during your training period, you got the knowledge of the materia medica, isn't it? And by the time the physician has become somewhat acquainted with these guides means the pathogenetic action of the drug, nothing but the curative action of the drug through the knowledge of materia medica, he is in a position to go forward and erect the structure of his future medical career upon the basis of that immovable. That means by selecting the proper medicine according to the knowledge of homeopathic materia medica, any young physician can build up his future in medical career, and the basis is nothing but the knowledge of materia medica and also the knowledge of organon that is immovable. It is not ever get changed, because the pathogenetic action of the drug is never get changed. It is also fixed, while the knowledge of organon or the principle and law of homeopathy, these are also immovable. And this concrete structure, on this concrete basis, any young homeopathic physician can build up his future medical career. For that, both you must have acquainted with the curative power of medicine. That does not change with the every new theory, that this knowledge of materia medica as well as the application or the employment of the medicine, and these principles never get changed during the course of time. These are all firm. That does not change with every new theory that arises upon the medical literature over a period of years. We find it one kaleidoscopic panorama. Kaleidoscopic panorama means a kaleidoscopic show of ever-changing theory and practice. That means, you know, kaleidoscope. The kaleidoscope is playing instrument. It meant for kids, and it is the structure of the kaleidoscope is like that. Here is a eyepiece. You can say the structure of the kaleidoscope is very simple. This prism is created by using three glass strips. You can say one side there is the beads or the broken bangles, the piece of the broken bangles, and here there is a eyepiece, and as you change the angle of this kaleidoscope by moving, and these certain images are created, because these are all very symmetrical images are created, and you observe that according to the changing this angle, these beads are arranged and the three-dimensional image is created here from the, and you can observe this image through this eyepiece, isn't it? And very beautiful images are created and very symmetrical images are created by changing the angle of this prism, isn't it? And such type of panorama is there. Very beautiful pictures you can observe from this kaleidoscope. It is very interesting to observe these different images. But what is the relation of this? Why H. Robert give the example of this kaleidoscopic panorama? Because as you change your angle, yes, by this ever-changing theory and practice in medical fraternity, and that means you know while we learning the classification of disease, why Hahnemann denied the nosological classification? Because every time they changed their theory regarding the causative factor of the disease as well as the treatment plan of the disease, and therefore Hahnemann was very much disgusted from this and called the disease with the fixed name, and there is a total divide of the concept of individuality. While in currently what happened, there is a frequently change the theory and the application of medicine, and according to this or whenever we rely on this ever changing theory of the allied sciences or allopathy, then you may change your angle, isn't it, angle to see towards the disease and towards the patient also, and therefore you may observe a different type of images in your patient, and it is very important, never change your angle to see towards the disease as well as or the disease as well as the application of the medicine, that is a materia medica. Otherwise, if you change your angle, then you can get a different images of the patient, and it is the disease phenomena and the materia medica and the application of medicine or the homeopathic principle, these are immovable, these are not changed during the course of time. Therefore, you first acquainted with the principle and law of homeopathy and very firmly rely on this principle and law and apply your knowledge of materia medica according to this principle. You should not apply this kaleidoscopic angle or kaleidoscopic panorama towards the each and every case. Have you got this? Yes, let us see the next paragraph. Homeopathy, on the other hand, is ever capable of development while the principle remains the same. Yes, homeopathy, it is not mean that there is no further development and the scope of homeopathy, isn't it? Homeopathy has a lot, in the previous lecture we learned that homeopathy has a lot of scope in public health sector as well as in treatment of the incurable diseases, the proving and reproving of the new medicine as well as the proving on animal to that extent which develop the irreversible pathological changes. That means homeopathy has ever scope and have a scope in development further, while it is not, while the principle remains the same. Yes, as the advanced methodology develop in homeopathy, while the principles remain same, principle never get changed, because homeopathy is founded upon principles that are again founded upon natural law. Why these principles and law of homeopathy never get changed? Because it is founded upon the natural law. These all the principle and laws of homeopathy, these are all based on natural law. These are the nature's law, and as the nature's laws firm, homeopathic principle also firm. These natural laws are basic. They are more eternal than heals. For these laws were formulated before the heals came into being. Yes, before the existence of these heals or these you can say the evolution of that, this natural law, the existence of the natural law is before the existence of heal, and therefore they are more firm and these are more fundamental, these are all basic. Let us take the next paragraph. If a man follows where homeopathy leads, he must be able to follow those laws and to hold close to them, regardless of the pressure of or influence. Yes, if a man follows where homeopathy leads, yes, if you agree to the leadership of homeopathy, if you agreed to follow homeopathy, then you must able to follow the law of and principle of homeopathy, and you must be hold fast these all principle regardless of pressure or influence, and in spite of this pressure and with the as the name of the development and the research in the allied sciences, regardless this pressure and influence from the outer circumstances or outer environment of the medical fraternity, you should hold fast all these principle and law of homeopathy, because these are all eternal, these are all concrete one, these are all basic and fundamental one, these are never get changed during the course of time, these are because these are all natural law, and you should believe firmly on this law and principle of homeopathy and hold fast it, isn't it, regardless the pressure or influence of other physician the physician from the other faculty. On the other hand, the very principles which he follows stabilize him and make him sure in his work. Yes, this nature of the homeopathic physician to hold fast this with these principles and the follow the stability which against this character, homeopathy gives the very confidence to the physician, isn't it, and therefore give the stability to him and make him sure in his work. He should give the confidence in his working. Homeopath is very much confident if he follows the principle of principle and law of homeopathy. Otherwise, there is only confusion and confusion. Therefore, H. Robert told you that the very principle which he follows stabilize him, which this principle give the stability to him and make him sure in his work and give the confidence regarding the surety. The surety is give and because of the very he stick up to the firmly with the principle, and which ultimately give the confidence in the work. This stability can be maintained equally well in chronic work. Yes, this stability can maintain equally well in chronic work. Why this stability is required, and this stability which where the very patience is required. In chronic work, you know, the very gradual progress of the disease is there, and while treating these chronic diseases, you must have a patience, isn't it? While in acute cases or amidst the panics of epidemics, yes, in acute cases and amidst in between the panic of epidemics of unknown origin such as influenza, poliomyelitis, outbreak of such conditions as encephalitis, for here as in all other manifestation of illness. Yes, this stability and with the confidence of the application of medicine and the confidence regarding the action of medicine, the curative power of medicine, and for that you must have essential patience during the course of treatment of the chronic disease, isn't it? Because it is time consuming treatment which require more time for the restoration of the health, while in acute cases also where the panic of epidemics, you know, we now experience the panic of epidemics in this pandemic of COVID-19. The various other and all the as there is no medicine, no vaccine is available for this epidemic, because according to homeopathic principle every epidemic is new, isn't it? It is not repeated as the previous epidemic is very much different than that of the next epidemic, and therefore the same thing is happen here, as this COVID-19 is a viral infection. Still it is very resemble to the influenza, while it is the medicine for the influenza or any other previous medicine which are used for the viral infection. These are not applicable for this COVID-19, and therefore much panic now we can observe in the world, because none other medicine is successfully act against the COVID-19. And because of this, and what is the role of homeopathic physician in that particular epidemic condition? You should overcome this panic. When we are strictly follow the principle of homeopathy, then you can remain away from this panic in the acute as well as in epidemic condition, because these epidemic condition are the unknown origin, such as influenza, poliomyelitis, outbreak of such condition as encephalitis. Yes, whenever these type of epidemics are, there is an outburst of these diseases as a epidemic, then in spite of this epidemic, you must firm with your principle. Then only you can overcome this epidemic condition, isn't it? Here as in the all other manifestation of illness, yes, in any other condition you should stick or you remain or hold fast the principle of and law of homeopathy, as well as the eminent patient. You should have an eminent patient, and which provide the stability. The stability in any condition, you have to maintain the stability and confidence. The fundamental laws remain firm and intact, and they are sufficiently basic to provide a sure guide to health. Yes, the homeopathic principle or fundamental law remain firm and intact. They are sufficiently basic to provide a sure guide to health. Yes, as these are firm and intact, therefore only they are sure guide to health. You can believe on this principle and health as a sure guide to health. A man who adopts the homeopathic method must be free from prejudice and able to look fairly at disease conditions from a new angle. Yes, this man who adopts homeopathic method must be free from prejudice. He must be free from any preconceived notion or any other outer influences, isn't it? His ideas should be very clear. His concept of the disease, regarding the disease, should be very clear and firm, and able to look fairly at disease condition from new angle. Yes, as you know, Hahnemann advised in Organon that the disease is nothing but the dynamic derangement of the vital force, and this dynamic aspect you should see towards the disease condition from this dynamic aspect, isn't it? Dynamic derangement of the diseases, and how to collect the symptom, how to make the totality of the symptom, and how the application of the medicine is there. He must look at the patient as an individual, not as a disease, and he must treat the patient, not the disease. Yes, this concept should be very much cleared in mind of each and every physician, homeopathic physician, that he must look at the patient as an individual. Yes, there is no preconceived notion and idea regarding any type of disease, isn't it? Every new case is a new area from which he has to enter, isn't it? And therefore every case he consider as a new challenge or a new or very individualistic concept you have to apply for each and every case. Consider every patient is new, consider every individual is differ from any other person, and here you should avoid the generalized concept of disease. You never consider the mass of people, but while you have to consider every patient is an individual patient, not as a disease. Yes, you never treat according to the diagnosis of the disease, because if you try to treat according to the diagnosis, then only one medicine is emerge in your mind, and therefore the individualistic concept should be maintained while treating your patient, and he must treat the patient. Yes, he has to take the individual patient, not the disease. He must learn that the symptoms that under ordinary training would have been discarded as confusing the issues or as of no value are the very symptom which to the homeopathic physician. That means while treating or while selecting the medicine, you discard the diagnosis of the disease. That means your treatment is not based on the diagnosis of the disease, because diagnosis of the disease we make from the collection of the common symptom, while the individuality or the individualization is we make by the characteristic symptom of that particular individual, and therefore in each and every instance you have to discard the confusing the issue. Which confusing the issue? That is your prescription based on the diagnosis of the disease. You must have a knowledge how what is the importance of diagnosis of disease, isn't it? And what is the and why it is important to diagnose the disease. Whenever you have clear idea regarding the diagnosis of the disease and the utility of the diagnosis of the disease for the therapeutic purpose, then only you must select the medicine according to the individuality of the patient, because you don't have to treat the disease while you have to treat the individual, and therefore this you have to discard the confusing issue or as no value are the very symptom which to the homeopathic physician. That means you have to discard all the common symptom also and only concentrate on the characteristic symptom. Simplify the case and provide the strongest clue to the surest method of assistance, and you have to select very confirmed method and select your medicine according to the characteristic symptom and the totality of the symptom which individualize your patient as well as drug. He must possess a sense of values and be able to train himself to observe and interpret those signs which manifest themselves through the habits and circumstances of the patient into indication for health restoring medication which he has at his command. Yes, he must possess a sense of values and be able to train himself to observe. Yes, this while case taking or after case taking, while case taking he must observe all the body language, or he has to use his all senses, sound senses for the observation of this patient or whatever is the symptom manifested and how he narrated his symptom, and these and physician has a able skill to interpret those signs. This interpretation of the symptom is very much important, and these interpretation of the or the deviation from the health which we observe from the habits and circumstances of the patient. That means you must note down all the physical general symptom and whatever is the circumstances occurred for the, or definitely you have to find out the which is the exciting cause and the maintaining cause of the disease from the circumstances of the patient. That means from his occupation, from his family life, and from whatever is his habits, and all these things which important to know the exciting and the maintaining cause of the disease. And to the indication for health restoring medicine, all these symptoms you have to collect for the individualization of the patient, and you definitely select this medicine on this characteristic symptom, and you must be confident that this medicine is restoring the patient sick to health, isn't it? And for which he has at his command, he must skillfully trained for this analysis and synthesis of the case, as well as the selection of the remedy from the knowledge of materia medica. In other words, he must learn to observe and record cases from the homeopathic angle, and for this quality he must be skill trained for the case taking. The case taking from the homeopathic angle. That case taking is not simply the collection of the symptom and note down all the symptom, while the interpretation of the symptom, which we have to emphasize more, on which plane you have to emphasize more. You must have a knowledge regarding the effective case taking, isn't it? Therefore, H. Robert told you that, in other words, he must learn to observe and record cases from the homeopathic angle. Yes, your case taking must be with the homeopathic angle. That means you have a knowledge of how the symptom are become characteristic one. The symptom become characteristic one if it has a proper sensation, proper modalities, and concomitant there, and therefore you have to inquire the patient from this specific type of angle. You collect, you ask your patient regarding the specific sensation and the causative factor, the modalities, and the concomitant symptom while you take the case, isn't it? And you should complete the case from the homeopathic angle. The diagnostic viewpoint, which has featured so largely in his training, must here take a different place in his perspective. Yes, this the diagnostic viewpoint. You know, the diagnosis is made from the common symptom of the disease, and therefore which has featured so largely in his training must here take a different place in his perspective. You must have a knowledge that all the symptoms which are required for the diagnosis of the medicine, diagnosis of the disease, is not essential for the selection of medicine, although specifically homeopathic medicine. What happened in allied science? They try to diagnose the disease anyhow. They collect the symptom from the patient. If they can't diagnose the disease, there is a provisional diagnosis. Then they send the patient for various type of pathological investigation, and whenever this pathological investigation gives support to their provisional diagnosis, then the final diagnosis is made. Why they try to diagnose the patient? Because their treatment is totally depending on the diagnosis of the disease, and because of the generalized concept of the disease. If there is a 10 patient of influenza, then they select a same medicine, or they have their very predetermined treatment plan for the patient of influenza. If the patient of there is a patient, a hypertensive patient, a group of hypertensive patient, each and every patient of the hypertensive received the same treatment. That means there is totally devoid of the concept of the individualization, and therefore they try to diagnose their disease. But this angle of the diagnosis of the disease, the homeopathic physician should not apply or should not try to diagnose the disease for the selection of medicine, isn't it? Yes, you diagnose the disease, but your viewpoint is very different. The diagnostic viewpoint, which has featured so largely in his training, must here take a different place. Yes, this diagnosis of the disease in homeopathic point of view, this diagnosis means very differently. It is not help for the selection of the medicine, while it help in different area and the different picture in the true relation. It is very different relation of this diagnosis with the within the for the treatment of the patient. He must take time to trace the source of the disturbance and the remedy to fit the complete picture, always basing the process upon the sound rock of natural laws. Then yes, he clearly advised you that don't follow your selection of medicine according to the diagnosis of the disease, while diagnosis has its own importance in your treatment, isn't it? He must take time to trace the source of the disturbance. Yes, he had to find out what is the exciting or maintaining cause of the disease and select the remedy which fit to the complete picture. Select the remedy which fit to the complete picture means totality of symptom, and this totality of the symptom is strictly individualize your patient, and your selection of medicine is and the employment of medicine, that is a selection of potency and the repetition of the doses. It is always basing the process upon the sound rock of natural law. Then these are according to the all these selection of medicine, then selection of potency, then selection of repetition of the doses. These are all based on the natural law, that is the principle of homeopathy. Homeopathy, let us take the next example, next paragraph. Homeopathy opens up a vista of opportunities for continually seeking new fields for the demonstration of natural laws. For if, as we believe, these laws are fundamental, their application is universal, and had we the vision to see it, we would be convinced not from its application in the field of medicine alone, but in every field of natural science and in applied science as well. Yes, homeopathy opens up a vista of opportunities. Vista of opportunities means vista, it is a pleasing view. That means it is the view is very much pleasing, or it is a good aspect, you can say. It is a very, homeopathy opens up the vista of opportunities. Whatever is the opportunities available, these are all pleasing to the human being. The homeopathy opens up a vista of the opportunities for continually seeking new fields for the demonstration of the natural law. For if, as we believe, these laws are fundamental, their application is universal. Yes, why these are very pleasing? Because these are fundamental and their application is universal. And had we the vision to see, if we would be convinced not from its application in the field of medicine alone, but in every field of natural science. Yes, this natural law is not only applicable in medical or the therapeutic purpose, while these are applicable in every field of natural science and in applied science as well. Yes, it is applied science means the application of this natural law, that is homeopathic principle, in every field of science. The vista in the field of medicine, that is the very pleasing view in the field of medicine which is opened up for the cure under the homeopathic method of treatment, is a wide one, and cure is always accomplished with the least possible disturbance to the patient, and in the gentlest manner, yet with the most profound effect on the whole individual. Yes, we observe what is the scope of homeopathy in the field of medicine. Yes, it is a vista, it is a very pleasing view in the field of medicine which opened up for the cure under the homeopathic method of treatment is wide one. Yes, in the field of medicine, when you see how homeopathy cure your patient, it is a rapidly, gently and permanently, and this view is very pleasing, isn't it? Because everyone desire to free from disease condition in very shortest time, and therefore homeopathy also provide a treatment, or homeopathy also provide the cure in very rapidly and very gently also. There is no palliation, no suppression, no the involvement of the very important organ, and it completely restores sick to health, that the health of the patient can enjoy the healthy state, and therefore the cure is always accomplished with the least possible disturbance to the patient, and there is no any other disturbance in the vital economy of the patient, and the vital force is regain its energy and establish the harmony of the all sensation and function without much disturbances, isn't it? No important, or there is no suppression of the disease, as there is no important organs get involved during the course of treatment, while each and every organ regain its health, and therefore homeopathy able to treat the patient in the gentlest manner, yet with the most profound effect of the whole individual. Yes, whenever we observe the life of the individual after the treatment, you got that there is a profound effect. That means it is very wisely there is a removal of the disease, isn't it? There is not only the palliation, while there is no any other trouble remain behind in form of suppression of the disease. The ill effects are totally removed, not observed in the patient, and that's why it is called a profound effect on the whole individual, which because of the application of homeopathic treatment, homeopathic medicine. Homeopathy is a system of medicine upon which we can depend to set the individual system in order and the patient on the high road of recovery, if recovery is possible. Yes, homeopathy can provide the treatment or restore sick to health and set the individual system in order, and it is the high road of recovery if recovery is possible. If we fail, we may know that the failure is ours, in that we have not fully compassed the case or a knowledge of the remedy. Yes, he told you that if there is failure, if you are failure to restore sick to health, if you failure to establish the ideal cure, then whatever is a failure, it is ours, isn't it? Take the responsibility of the failure, in that we have not fully compassed. Compass means you are not use the indication properly. You have not fully compassed or cover the case or a knowledge of the remedy. That means this, what is the drawback in this failure? Because you don't understand the case you don't compass the case or cover the case or cover the totality of the symptom, and the knowledge of the materia medica is also not very well applied. That means the differentiation, making the totality of the symptom, that is the case processing, you did not work properly, and don't apply the and did not apply the knowledge of the remedy. isn't it? And there is a poor application of the knowledge of materia medica. That these are all lacuna, and therefore there is failure. In a field so vast, it is conceivable that not all available agencies have yet been developed, and our own ignorance may limit us in the use of those remedies. Yes, what is the responsible cause is our own ignorance. You don't have a proper knowledge of the remedies, and therefore your selection is incorrect, and therefore there is failure. It is a limit, may limit us in the use of those remedies which we already have. But those who study homeopathy with an unprejudiced mind, those who have practiced it faithfully and purely, can and do attest its unsurpassed result when consciously applied to the sick. Yes, it means that if here the limitation of yours, you don't have a proper knowledge of materia medica, and you have a ignorance, or this ignorance of the poor knowledge of materia medica limited the use of those remedy, and therefore what is your what is your own efforts? Yes, it is, you have a unprejudiced mind in homeopathy, and you have to fidelity on your principle and law. This faithfulness is required, and purely, this purest, you have to apply the knowledge very purely, and therefore and do attest its surpassed result. Surpass means it is not a good result, not great, and therefore you first agree that there is a failure because of your own mistake or your own error, and then with consciousness you have to, and with pureness and faithfulness, you apply your knowledge. That means you improve our knowledge. Let us take the next. If a chain is no stronger than its weakest link, we must examine the link individually. Yes, why there is failure? You have to try to understand where is your weakest link, whether your analysis and is not proper, whether you are not able to individualize your patient, or whether your knowledge of materia medica is not enough. Then that means to find out which is your weakest link, and because of this weakest link, there is no profound result of the homeopathic medicine. If a chain is not stronger than its weakest link, and the weakest link are there, we must examine the links individually, one by one. कुठे चूक झालेली आहे हे आपल्याला बघावं लागेल. Whether there is no case taking, whether we are not able to collect the characteristic symptom, whether you are not making a totality properly, whether there is any mistake in the drug differentiation and the selection of remedy. You have to check it one by one and not determine their strength or weakness by testing the complete chain as our first measure. Then you have to, as it is very faithfully, you have to work and search out for whether there is any error or mistake in the processing of the case and the selection of remedy. Let us take the next paragraph. The very foundation of homeopathic practice consider man not only as an individual but as a complete unit in himself, of which all his parts comprise a well-balanced whole. Homeopathy, therefore, does not consider any one part as being ill, but consider the manifestation of illness is one part in its relation to the whole man. That you should be very well acquainted with the holistic concept of the medicine. Patient as a person, patient as a whole, not only his one organ and one part or one system is ill or disease, while the whole person is affected or whole person is influenced by the dynamic disease force or the morbific force, and therefore the illness not strictly remain in or localize in one part, while this whole body or the whole human being is affected. Medicine ideally has to do with the cure of disease, the building up of the individual, not overlooking proper hygiene and sanitation, but with a deeper view of the needs of the individual himself, once again considering his individuality. Yes, this individuality or the human being is not only you have to search out for the external environment, isn't it? That means the proper hygiene and sanitation. But as a human, you have to see with the deeper view of the need of the individual himself. What are the deeper view of the needs of the individual himself? That means at the mental sphere of the emotional sphere, the emotional needs of the patient or the person should be fulfilled, isn't it? In various age group or the various phases of the life, there are different requirement of the mind, or there is a different needs of the mind or the emotional level, and therefore you have to search out whether there is any deficiency at the mental plane or his emotional plane. And it is meaning that, but with a deeper view of the needs of the individual himself, once again considering his individuality. That means this personality which is built up, and what are his emotional needs or the whatever is the alteration at his mental level because of the not fulfillment of his deeper needs, you have to search it very deeply in each and every instances or each and every case taking. Probably homeopathy stresses this view of the individual in relation to his environment and circumstances more than any other school of medical thought. Yes, this homeopathic case taking is very deeply, and we try to find out the cause of the disease, that is a exciting and maintaining cause in the environment and circumstances, that is family history, his occupational history, then his performance in school, and different type of relationship with the society. You have to find out the cause of the disease in environment, not only in the environment but in relation with his circumstances. Any other school more emphasize on that particular type of case taking, and for it takes into the consideration not only his immediate heritage but the most subtle and complex burden, that is the heritage of long ages and struggling and developing ancestors. Yes, this history is not only restricted to the human being, that particular patient, while his immediate heritage, that means it is related to the family and the culture of the family, different family, which is very subtle, which is very fine and complex burden, and all these rituals of the family and the society, these are also create the burden, and this the load of his heritage and the struggling from since long age. It may have create the burden and the poor adjustment with all these function of the society. It may create the conflict in that particular individual, and therefore try to find out this conflict and why it is occurred. Homeopathy seeks to relieve the individual as much as possible from the heavy burden of hereditary tendencies he carries, and to guard against increasing this load by enabling his vital energy to provide its own immunity against disease. Yes, these hereditary tendencies, this which we received from the previous races, or you can say this from his parents or the ancestor. This miasmatic pattern is also very much important, and what the conditions and circumstances are responsible for the development of the disease, these all you have to consider while treating the patient. Therefore, he told that homeopathy seeks to relieve the individual as much as possible from the heavy burden of hereditary tendencies. Heavy burden means the burden of the miasmatic tendency he carries, and to guard against increasing this load by enabling his vital energy to provide its own immunity against disease. And this miasmatic pattern and the complexity of this miasm may increase the burden on the immunity of that particular person, and therefore it is your duty to remove this burden, remove this load which he carries. Homeopathy looks upon the health of the individual as a previous charge, and this return to health as almost certain if we but follow the fundamental laws. Yes, for the restoration of the health of the individual as a previous charge. As a previous charge means is this hereditary tendencies, and by considering these hereditary tendencies, it is our duty to remove this load of this miasm and the complexity of miasm from this individual by the application of anti-miasmatic remedy. Then only the patient is can enjoy his or patient or the immunity of the patient may re-establish, and he is able to fight with any adverse situation. What is the drawback of this each and every patient is it is a complexity of miasm, and therefore if you want to provide health to the patient, you have to remove this load of hereditary tendencies or burden of hereditary tendencies, which we can consider through the totality of symptom and diagnosis of the miasm, and treat and give the anti-miasmatic remedy and remove the load which he carries from his ancestor. Yes, today we finish the lecture at this point. We will complete the remaining lecture in next lecture. Okay, thank you.